Another Liberty League matchup here on the South Hill at Ben Life Gymnasium as the Ithaca College Bombers, the 11-2 Bombers that is, get ready to host the 5-6 Clarkson Golden Knights. Ithaca trying to improve to 7-0 within the Liberty League, while Clarkson looking for just their second conference win. Alongside this Ithaca team handled St. Lawrence pretty well yesterday at one of their well-known Liberty League rivals. As for Clarkson, they lose to RPI in the road by 14, but that was largely due to just a second quarter where they scored just 2 points.
Yeah, talk about the second quarter. I mean, that's a quarter where you're shooting 0 for 12 and they got 2 free throws in there. If they want to beat Ithaca today, they can't have that quarter. That quarter, they need to put that behind them and have a very short-term memory. Cassidy Dumont coming off her worst game of the season, fouling out with 4 points, shooting 1 for 12 from the field in the RPI loss. They're going to need a much better game if they want to beat a top dog in the Ithaca Bombers.
Yeah, Cassidy Dumont, the reigning Liberty League Player of the Week, but a player that's also stepped up for this team. The freshman Bella Doyle, she shot the ball well from 3 at 40%, and she's the biggest presence they have in the interior at 5'10". How important is she?
She's really important. I mean, talk about that presence. The Bombers have a huge height advantage against Clarkson. We're talking about Yorio, Dorn, Albertelli, Coffey, all taller than everyone in Clarkson's already short rotation. And you talked about Bella Doyle. Well, she recorded her second straight double-double, producing 15 points and 13 rebounds yesterday. Her third double-double of the season. She's going to need to have a big game today.
And then switching to Ithaca, we can talk about Emily Dorn, Cara Volpe, and all the stars on that team, but they are getting a key piece back in the freshman guard, Zoraida Ikabalseta. She has shot very well from the field, over 50%. She shoots a good 3-ball as well. Missed yesterday's game. She's back in the rotation today.
Yeah, that's huge for Dan Raymond's squad. I mean, she fills 20 minutes per game. We saw yesterday a lot of it was on Natalie Smith, who only sat really 4 minutes of the game, but she really made her mark. 7 assists, 4 steals. As for the other players to surround those minutes, Shea Sabino, Brady Lynch, Grayson Dubin, Hannah Polche, but to have Zoraida back today, it's definitely a great sign for the Ithaca Bombers in this matchup against Clarkson.
So as for the starting lineups, Clarkson going with their senior forward, Elena Porter, the aforementioned Cassidy Dumont, Bella Doyle, Veronica Tache, and the senior guard, Mariah Benavides. As for Ithaca, Natalie Smith, Hannah Polche, the 2 guards, Cara Volpe in there as well, Lindsay Albertelli, and Emily Dorn will take the tip. So again, Ithaca and Clarkson. Ithaca trying to maintain their first place status in the Liberty League. Clarkson trying to gain some ground with win number 2. Dorn wins the tip, and we are underway. Ithaca working left to right in white jerseys. They were in navy yesterday. Clarkson in their green. Dorn did not start yesterday. She's back in there today, working one-on-one with Bella Doyle. Throws one inside Albertelli. Her layup is good, and the Bombers on the board first.
Definitely a great look to find Lindsay Albertelli wide open inside the paint.
Dorn had a trio of assists yesterday. She starts with one on that feed to Albertelli inside. Let's see how Clarkson gets going offensively. As this is Porter, a 3 to fire for Cassidy Dumont. She stays cold from behind the arc, and here comes the Bombers the other way. Polche, mid-range J, rolls out, rebound to Doyle. This is Veronica Tache out of Middleton, Massachusetts, one of 2 players on this Clarkson team not from the state of New York. Cassidy Dumont is the other one from Norway, Maine, and she just went off to Benavides here. Gets it out. Doyle thought about the 3, now drives in, draws the double. Here's a 3 for Porter. That doesn't catch anything. The offensive rebound no good, and Polche holds it in.
I mean, we talk about Dumont's points all the time, but look at that great awareness to get it back inside.
Natalie Smith, count it, and 1. Ahead of the pack with a full head of steam, and she's got a chance at a 3-point play.
We saw Natalie Smith, but prior to this game, working on those free throws, hitting a lot of them. She's 77% from free throws, so we'll see how she does today.
She struggled last year from the line. This one is up and good, so clearly the work has helped her make some progress. Ithaca up 5-0 here early. A note about Clarkson, Matt, they get out-rebounded by an average of over 14 rebounds per game. So that's going to be a big key for them if they want to keep this close.
Yeah, they only average 32 rebounds a game, and that's the worst in the Liberty League, and that's got to be one of the worst in Division III.
Meanwhile, the Bombers out-rebound their opponents by over 8. This is Dumont, a floater. And she gets the roll, so Cassidy Dumont, a much-needed early field goal.
It looks like she just broke Emily Dorn's ankles on that one.
Yeah, again, we know she's capable of putting up big numbers, just a really rough one on the road against RPI yesterday. Smith inside for Albertelli. Polce to Volpe, got right by her defender. Dorn puts it in.
You'll notice a lot with this Ithaca team. It's a lot of screens and a lot of passing. This team's not selfish at all.
Ithaca didn't score until 4 minutes in yesterday. They already have 7. With 2 minutes and change gone here in the first quarter. Benavides working on Smith, pulls it back, and she turns it over. Polce's got no one in front of her, and she lays it up and in. 9-2 Bombers already.
It's an uncostly turnover for Clarkson, especially with this Ithaca team already up 9-2 and outscoring their opponents by a ton in the first quarter.
Ithaca's offense off to a blazing hot start. Dumont has the mismatch on Dorn, goes back out. Benavides tries a 3, little short, rebound to Polce.
That's their third three-pointer that they tried. 0 for 3 already for Clarkson.
We saw St. Lawrence struggle with the 3 yesterday, only making 4 in a lot of attempts. Albertelli catches above the arc, and she throws it away for the first Bomber turnover.
And something to note about this Ithaca defense is while we talk about how great they are, they're in the bottom 6 in terms of the Liberty League for three-pointers on opposing teams. So they let up a lot of three-pointers, and we see St. Lawrence Clarkson struggling in these past 2 days.
Right, that's the only team category where they really struggle with, and that is opposing threes. And that's clearly improving over the weekend. Here's a mid-range J from Porter. That's no good. Porter gets the ball back somehow, feeds Dumont, trying to get towards the paint, but she's denied by the bigger Dorn. The Golden Knights reset on offense here. A near travel, and Benavides saves it from going into the backcourt. Doyle provides the screen. Kara with some good defense here. And Benavides, shot clock at the buzzer sounds in. It goes out of bounds off of Benavides. So just a messy possession there by Clarkson, Matt.
Yeah, we could see size playing a huge factor. I mean, Ithaca, really aggressive on defense. We see that all the time, but when a 5'5 guard, a 5'4 guard is going up against a 5'10 forward, it's not going to go in her favor.
Mariah Benavides, again, just 5'1", the smallest player on both of these teams. Smith to Dorn. Doyle giving her the mid-range jumper. She doesn't take it. Polce feeds Dorn in the interior. One-on-one with Doyle. Fades away baseline. A little short. Fight for the rebound. Dorn dives on the floor. Maintains the possession for now. Still loose. Clarkson comes away with it. Dumont has a 2-on-1 if she hurries. Feeds Benavides. Short jumper. No. And the rebound all the way out to Emily Dorn. That's a basket they have to convert.
Yeah, it is. And there's 2-on-1 with Hannah Polce on defense. It looks like she tried to get her foot out there to get a kickball violation.
Instead, Clarkson just misses. Albertelli blows right by Porter. No good, but a foul.
Yeah, you might want that layup, but it's a foul. She's going to go to the line and go for 2 here. Something we've talked about, Jeremy, in these last 2 games is free throws. Ithaca needs to cash in on those free throws. They've already 1 for 1. We'll see how Lindsay Albertelli goes from the line here. 2
subs for each team. For Clarkson, it's the freshman Raylan Burns and Kaylee Johnson. Kaylee Johnson's played pretty much every game off the bench, but she's just taken 4 shots all season, as Albertelli's first free throw is good. As for Raylan Burns, out of Governor, New York, 2 players from there, near the St. Lawrence area in St. Lawrence County. She shoots 39.4% from the field. Second one rolls out. The rebound to Cassidy Dumont. Annabella Iorio alongside Cameron Coffey. In for the Bombers. Coffey was 2 for 6 from behind the arc yesterday, as there's the first Bomber foul charged to Iorio.
Yeah, you talked about Cameron Coffey yesterday, beyond the arc, 2 for 6 from 3, ending with 12 points. Hannah Polce also 3 for 5, ending with 12 points. Coffey joined the 30%ers with Zoraida Ikabalseta and Hannah Polce yesterday.
Let's see if we see Ikabalseta check in at some point soon. Burns to Benavides at the top of the arc. Albertelli has a mismatch on her. Johnson with 7 to shoot. Benavides pulls back, tries another 3. That's also off the front rim. Fight for the rebound. Yorio comes up with it. She's trying to take on 2 defenders. She'll slow it down. Gives it to Smith on the baseline. Doesn't have the mid-range day. Albertelli does, and she knocks it down.
Yeah, Clarkson already 0 for 4 from 3, and we look at their percentage. They're 29% from 3, so maybe this could be a defensive game plan for Dan Raymond, telling his team, let the threes happen. Let them shoot the threes. Take that chance.
Coach Maureen Webster will call timeout for Clarkson. Ithaca out to a blazing hot start, 12-2, with 4:47 remaining in quarter number 1. You mentioned the threes, but at the same time, Ithaca's doing such a great job defensively, denying access to the paint. So what do you think Clarkson can do to probably get some better looks?
Set some screens. Get some people open. Find the open lane, and most likely set the screens to get those people open. You'll notice Ithaca does that on offense pretty frequently to get those open lanes, to get those small windows you can pass it to.
Both teams come out with their same 5 prior to the timeout. And 12-2 Bombers lead. Ithaca did a great job the last 2 games playing really good defense to start. Remember, St. Lawrence got off to that 4-0 lead, but then didn't score again until the waning seconds of the first frame. As Dumont finds Doyle, and she traveled.
Yeah, talk about the first quarter for each of these teams. Ithaca, I already told you, they're outscoring opponents 215 to 158, while Clarkson is being outscored 124 to 176. So this isn't the most ideal start and not the most ideal quarter for Clarkson.
Just a second turnover for Clarkson. Ithaca with just 1 themselves, as here comes Zoraida Icabal-Seta to the scorer's table. Veronica Taché getting ready to check it back in as well for the Golden Knights. Smith working one-on-one with Benavides, finds Yorio. She cuts to the hoop, left the layup short, and the rebound to Doyle. Ball loose again. It's a turnover in the backcourt for Clarkson. Good hands by Natalie Smith. Throws it to a one-on-one matchup with Albertelli. Her lefty layup is good, so Lindsay Albertelli with 5 points in the early going.
I'm telling you, it's the size, Jeremy. 5'11", or 6 foot, excuse me. Going up, getting that one, size matters.
Make it 7 points, actually, for Albertelli. She's got half of Ithaca's points in the early going. It's the floater by Dumont, catches nothing. And that'll be, I believe, Clarkson ball. It will stay. Anya Watkins into the game for Ithaca alongside Zoraida Icabal-Seta. So Watkins, who didn't play until the very end of the game yesterday, getting some early minutes here this afternoon.
She's played in 11 of 13 games. You might wonder, size, Jeremy, just adding more height in this game.
It's a good matchup to probably get her some more minutes. Bad inbound pass. Coffey wins the battle for the loose ball, goes right to the basket, counted and one.
I'm not sure what was going on. I mean, the Clarkson player at the top of the key just did not notice the ball was coming at her, or she thought someone was behind her. I'm not sure. Cameron Coffey shows off the speed, even though she's 5'11", to get that layup.
Matt Grayson Dubin will get some more first half minutes. We saw her play the end of the first half yesterday. She checks in early. And regarding Cameron Coffey, you know, she's known as a three-point shooter. That's her strong suit, as she makes the free throw. But we saw her go to the basket yesterday and get a lot of success doing so, when she does it again there on the fast break.
Yeah, she got 6 points from 3 yesterday, but 6 points not from 3. So she's definitely ranging her types of skills here.
17-2. Ithaca all over Clarkson here in the early going. This is Taché to the basket, and she gets bumped and fouled.
We usually see Ithaca come out with a pretty deep lineup, but I gotta say, in the first quarter, they're going much deeper than we thought here, Jeremy.
Foul charge to Icabal-Seta. Taché comes in shooting just over 55% from the line. First one is up and no good. So Clarkson really struggling to score, and Ithaca having one of their best offensive first quarters we've seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the second quarter for Clarkson yesterday.
Been a very similar fate here in quarter number one, as Taché does go 1 for 2. 17-3. Ithaca leads. Feed inside by Icabal-Seta. Dubin wide open on the left block.
Wide open. I'm not sure if there's any miscommunication from Clarkson there, or they just didn't see her behind, but Ithaca will take it.
So 19-3. Bombers with their largest lead at 16. Dumont's floater is good. Dumont's got 4 of the 5 points, and she's got the only field goals for Clarkson.
Matched her points from yesterday already.
Doesn't seem to be enough so far. Again, still 19-5, as it will remain Ithaca ball after that block. Ithaca will inbound it underneath the basket. This is Dubin on the bounce for Iguodala, getting pressed here by Taché. Inside feed, Yorio, clean look, could not convert.
It's just an unlucky bounce. Great pick and roll, though.
Outlet pass, Raylan Burns can't hit the layup herself, and the rebound to Watkins, but a bad outlet pass, and Burns gets it right back, throws it up, no good. Threw it over 2 defenders there, not the best quality shot.
Yeah, I mean, Ithaca's up 19-5. There's no reason why they need to go fast tempo.
Inside Coffee, reverse layup is good.
And a great backdoor cut from Cameron Coffey with Cassidy Dumont, on her there.
Ithaca getting anything they want in the paint right now. And using that size.
They've been in control of this game since the first second, and they haven't stopped.
As Kaylee Johnson stepped on the out-of-bounds line, and it will be Bombers ball again. Benavides back in along with Doyle, so they take 2 of their core players out of the game for a little bit, and the deficit just got worse, so here they come right back in there.
Yeah, and I wouldn't expect those players to sit out for very long since Clarkson does run a 7-person rotation here.
Brady Lynch getting ready to check in. Here's Iguodala, has it knocked out of bounds.
With this game being 21-5, I feel like Dan Raymond has a lot of leeway to put in the players that he wants to see them get more minutes with Brady Lynch coming in.
And I'll tell you this, we saw it against Bard before winter break. The starters played about 5 minutes together as Anya Watkins gets hacked underneath. A little bit of a late whistle. But after those 5 minutes, we saw a lot of Isabella Middleman, Grayson Dubin, Shea Sabino, Jillian Payne. Payne is not active today, but she did play a lot then. And it was just an opportunity, as I think it was up by 20 plus the entire game, to see what the depth players can bring. And with the way this lead is right now, it could be one of those games.
Yeah, as I recall, that game, Grayson Dubin led the team in points.
She had double-double as Watkins leaves the first one long. Again, Clarkson has won in the Liberty League. They did beat Vassar in overtime for their lone conference victory, but struggling against the Bombers so far. 22-5 as Watkins sinks the second. Benavides on the left wing. Iguodala not giving her much room to work. Feeds it to Taché. Cuts inside, gets some space, puts up the jumper, no good. Fight for the rebound is Burns, and she has it stripped out of bounds.
Yeah, I was looking at the matchup inside the paint. We have Bella Doyle, 5'10", going up against Brady Lynch, 6 foot. Looked like Bella Doyle was struggling in there.
Remember, Cam Coffey, she's a guard, but she's also 5'11", so Ithaca with a big size advantage going for them right now. Struggle for the inbound. Doyle just gets one into Burns, and I think she left it off her foot.
They're going to call it on Isabel there.
That's a bit of a break for Clarkson.
It's definitely a ticky-tacky call there.
Inbound from underneath the basket. Benavides makes the initial catch. Almost shuffled her feet, it looked like. Taché uses the Doyle screen. Nothing really there. Porter mid-range jumper is good. And Elena Porter finally another player to knock down a shot. Under a minute to go in quarter number one. Zoraida Iguodala kicks it out. Coffey, her first triple try, a little long. Watkins, the offensive rebound. Iguodala, a very unselfish player, dishes it back off to Coffey. She goes to the basket. Lefty layup is good.
Cameron Coffey showcases her speed there, gets around the defender with an open lane. Not typical from a three-point shooter.
And yeah, she's, again, seeing a lot of success driving to the hoop. Again, Clarkson struggling an extra amount offensively without Dumont in the game. As that one is just a careless turnover there as it goes off the legs of Benavides.
Too many uncostly turnovers from Clarkson. I get it. It's 24-7. Maybe if they didn't turn the ball over, it'd be 24-14 here, Jeremy. it's not something you want from your team this early on.
Ithaca running with a lineup of Zoraida Icaboseta, Grayson Dubin, Cam Coffey, Anya Watkins, and Brady Lynch. Only 2 active players have not played for Ithaca yet, in Shea Sabino and Isabella Middleman. Long 2 for Lynch. She knocks it down at the buzzer.
I mean, can you think of a more perfect quarter for the Ithaca College Bombers?
They're on pace to score over 100 points, 104 to be exact.
And it looks like Natalie Smith and Kara Volpe are both coming in, too. So it looks like Dan Raymond is going to go back to those starters. How do you think we'll see the starters a lot?
If this is a blowout at the half,
I wouldn't expect it.
You might not expect it, but here's the deal. It's not. They still have a week of a gap in between. The next game is Friday. They don't have a Tuesday game like they did last week. And their upcoming games, Skidmore and Union. And Skidmore is that team that, if they're able to take care of both home and on the road, they'll have hosting duties for the Liberty League tournament again. And so you just want to make sure your players are right for that game on the road. Skidmore, a tough team.
Yeah, that's going to be a game to watch on Friday, Skidmore, Ithaca, as they both have hopes of winning the Liberty League. But coming out of the second quarter, it looks like Dan Raymond's going to throw back all of his starters.
Yeah, it looks like it will be Polche, Smith, Albertelli, Dorn, and Volpe. Again, this game isn't over. There's still 3 quarters of basketball to be played. Clarkson has scored over 80 points in a game before this season. They can get hot. It's just this weekend, shots aren't falling for them. Now,
Clarkson still being outscored in the second quarter for their team so far, but third quarter, fourth quarter, that's where they pick it up and start getting points down. So I don't think you could call it over until the end of the third quarter at least.
It's just our second game together, and we'll be doing games for this women's team every game on ICTV coming up in the near future. But I'm already appreciating the advanced analytics you're providing to the broadcast.
Thank you, Jeremy.
So Dumont back in for Clarkson. It's their starting 5. Dump to Doyle. Dorn working tightly on her. Albertelli comes to double. Dumont, top of the key 3, rolls out, and Albertelli skies for the board. And then, there you go. Another careless turnover in the backcourt. Natalie Smith can only laugh.
Yeah, for Cassidy Dumont, I think she's going to need to play almost all of the rest of the minutes if they want to come back. I know she's coming off a 4-point performance, but she is the Liberty League scoring leader.
And if you're Dumont, I think the best hope for this team, you got to just try to shoot out of it, whatever slump she's in. Doyle finds Dumont wide open corner 3, and that looked good, but just a little bit short off the top of the rim, and Smith gets the long rebound. Smith on the drive, up and under. Well defended by Benavides, and she's fouled in the backcourt by Albertelli.
We saw these fouls yesterday, especially with Cameron Coffey. Had 2 fouls in the backcourt. Jeremy, I don't understand why they need to feel like to steal the ball right when Clarkson gets that rebound. I mean, it might work 1 out of 5 times, but still.
That was where the bulk of their fouls came yesterday, on fouls following rebounds. Dumont tries the long 2, and she hits that. So 6 points now for Cassidy Dumont. Clarkson within 17.
You cannot let her get hot. If she gets hot, she might open this game up a little closer, especially if Ithaca keeps turning the ball over and fouling.
Volpe feeds Albertelli. Nice pick and roll and cut to the basket. Albertelli with 9.
Well, a lot of times we see Ithaca with these backdoor cuts, and Clarkson's just letting them have it. And I don't know if it's because of the size or what, but if you want to come back in this game, Clarkson's going to need to watch those backdoor cuts.
Porter got inside, but kicked it back out to Benavides. Throws it all the way up for Taché. 8 to shoot. Taché working with Volpe. Gives it back up to Porter. Tightly contested. Throws it up and is fouled. Emily Dorn bailed her out there. Shot clock was winding down, and she kind of threw up a desperation heave.
You'll notice a lot of times when Ithaca's on defense, they're what I like to call paint pests, because the second that Clarkson or the opposing team gets in the paint, 3 people converge on her.
Porter gets the roll on the first. She came into this one 74.4% from the line. Clarkson can get hot offensively, but if they're going to come back, it's going to come down to their defense as that one rolls out. Albertelli the rebound. Emily Dorn on the baseline. She's been a little quiet. Again, hasn't played the same amount of minutes so far. Albertelli right to the basket and scores. She's got 11.
Yeah, Emily Dorn, like you said, she's averaging 16 points in the last 3 contests, but looks like today she's taking a step back, letting Lindsay really get into the driver's seat.
Now, Albertelli is someone who struggled shooting a little bit, but she's having a stellar afternoon so far. Ithaca with their largest lead at 20. Porter fades it off the glass and in.
The bank is open. Even though that's not a three-pointer, the bank is still open.
Those are the shots they need to get, though. Kara Volpe on the dribble handoff. Tries to find a cutting Smith. She gets free, but the layup was long. Benavides gets the rebound. Taché thought about the three. Avoided the travel. Gets picked up by Smith. There's Porter driving on Natalie Smith, and Porter had an open look but couldn't hit. Long rebound, outlet to Polche. Inside Albertelli, another easy deuce.
It just seems like they don't have an answer for Lindsay Albertelli inside the paint.
13 first half points for Lindsay Albertelli. What has she done so well that we necessarily haven't seen from her in previous games?
I think she's took advantage of the circumstances of this game. I've talked about this a lot. It's all about size when you're Lindsay Albertelli and the mismatches that she could get. A lot of times this Ithaca offense sets a lot of screens, a lot of picks, and that causes the opposing defense to have to switch, and that's when you get a guard on Lindsay Albertelli. She's going to take her to the basket. She's going to find a lane to get to the basket, get open, and get the points. Jeremy, I think it's just purely mismatching for Lindsay to get the 13 points that she has.
She already has a season high, Matt, of 13 points. She had scored 12 points previously a couple of times. She's only 3 points off of her career high of 16 when she scored 16 on the road against Vassar last year. So if Coach Raymond decides to keep up with the starters for a little while longer, we can maybe see her achieve that feat, and she's going to stay in the game here as Ithaca Balsetta and Yorio check back in.
Lindsay Albertelli, one of the 5th years on this team, brings a lot of experience. I like to call the core 4, Coffey, Dorn, Smith, Albertelli. Core 5 with Volpe. A lot of experience that this team brings.
There's your starting lineup right there with Coffey coming off the bench. Was the starting 5 at the start of the season. Dumont working on Ithaca Balsetta. Burns thought about the jumper, gives it back to Dumont. And Benavides was on the sideline out of bounds. Someone who's been quiet, Hannah Polche, just 2 points, only taken 2 shots, but she hasn't needed to take those big shots that she had to take yesterday. Albertelli wants the one-on-one. She struggles with the catch, but tips it back to Yorio to save the possession. Bounce for Volpe. She's got Dumont on her to the corner. Polche thought about 3, gives it to Yorio. 5 to shoot. Albertelli. Polche, 2 to shoot. Polche at the buzzer. I don't think it got the rim. Yorio's putback won't count because of it, and it's a shot clock violation.
It was a good idea, but ideally, I think you would want Hannah Polche to take that corner 3 instead.
Exactly. She had a solid look from the deep corner. 32-12. Ithaca all over the Golden Knights. Doyle lost possession right to Hannah Polche. The Bombers want to run. Ithaca Balsetta wide open Yorio. She missed the layup. Albertelli right there. And she turned it back over. And here come the Golden Knights. Doyle thought about 3. She'll set the screen. Here's Taché, had it stripped, but she got it back. Doyle, good closeout by Albertelli to take away the shot. 14 to shoot. Burns kicks it out. Doyle, Benavides, she tries her 3rd 3 of the game and left it very long. Saved possession initially.
It looked like it went off of Volpe's foot there.
It did.
So great awareness for Clarkson to get the ball back. We're
seeing Clarkson players start to hesitate when it comes to taking shots At this point, you got to find a player to get hot.
You got to take as many shots as you can down 20. Got to forget about what.
There's still 3 to shoot. Offensive rebound by Dumont. She swarmed, but the floater is left short again. Balsetta running the floor. Feeds Yorio on the baseline. She doesn't have a jumper. Ithaca trying to find an open cutter. Yorio up and under. Pretty move for the lay-in. Redeems herself for the previous miss.
Annabelle Yorio yesterday, not in the points category too much, but 10 rebounds, which is huge for Ithaca.
A lot of those rebounds came on the offensive glass as well. Ball loose on the floor. Johnson recovers. 8 to shoot. This is Porter to the basket. Tough take, and Albertelli catches it off glass.
I mean, Clarkson's just struggling to find an open shot today.
Balsetta, a pretty move to the rim, and she gets the layup to go. Again, Balsetta missed yesterday's game, but boy, do the Bombers miss that speed when it's not there.
Yeah, she's been a great replacement for Natalie Smith when Smith needs to get on the bench, take some time off.
36 to 12. Floater by Dumont. No. Yorio, the only player underneath for the rebound. Outlet, Albertelli feeds Yorio again, goes right by the defense and lays it home.
You'll notice that Clarkson is not the best in terms of transition defense. I'll give you some more stats here, Jeremy. Yesterday in the RPI loss, RPI had 15 points off of Clarkson's turnovers and 11 fast break points on Clarkson. Clarkson, well, they're going against one of the better teams.
Or excuse me, offensively, my apologies, with a couple consecutive layups. She missed her first 3 shots, but has converted on the previous 2. As for rebounds, Albertelli, along with her 13 points on 6 for 6 from the field, has 5 boards. Polche has 4 boards as well. Hannah Polche also leads with 3 assists. So everybody kind of doing their part. Ithaca will go to their bench again. Grayson Dubin and Shea Sabino coming in for the first time.
First time we see Shea Sabino today.
Right, and so Isabella Middleman, the only Bomber, at to check in. But if this keeps up, we might see a good amount of her in the second half. Dumont, long 2. Can't get the roll. Yorio had the rebound, but it did bounce off that baseline. So
it looks like Cassidy Dumont is a little confused on that call, but she had a great look. She had a great look at the top of the key there.
I'm struggling to decide how that's still a ball, unless I missed something.
Another ticky-tacky call, I guess, Jeremy.
I guess that's the case. Ithaca up 26. Dubin inside Yorio. Working on Porter, and she shuffled the feet, I believe. They'll call an offensive 3 seconds.
Great idea from Yorio. She has a mismatch there with Porter being 5'9", Yorio being 6 foot. Definitely a size difference there.
2:43 to go in half number 1. As that long pass goes out of bounds. Clarkson just in shambles offensively. No other way to put it.
It's the Ithaca defense. They are just pests, Jeremy. They are not letting up, even though the score is 38 to 12.
7 points last quarter for the Golden Knights, just 5 so far here in quarter number 2. Sabino looked for the open cutter, and Coffey didn't get it to her. Here go Balsetta, one-on-one with Benavides, lost the handle, ball loose in the paint, and they do give it to Clarkson. Dumont wants to run as the official stumbled. Still got the foul call off, though.
A couple stumbles there, but I believe that call is on Yorio.
It is on Yorio. Officials laughing it off as well. Glad to see he's okay. He's laughing at somebody on the scorer's table, so. As down goes Porter. She can't get up without dribbling, and she does get it away to Dumont. Still 15 to shoot for Clarkson. Dumont feeds Doyle in the left corner. Doyle working with Dubin, gets it back out to Dumont. Long floater, left it long, and Yorio another rebound.
I mean, it's an understatement to say that Ithaca does not want Clarkson to score. Shea Sabino came up contested with Yorio on the opposite side of the court.
Another Bomber turnover. Dumont ahead of the pack. Easiest shot they've had all game. Still botched it. And Yorio the rebound. Clarkson just can't get anything to go. Dubin for Coffee. Ichabod said it. No one near her. Still doesn't take the three. Puts up the floater. Didn't get that to go either. And the rebound to Elena Porter.
Ichabod Seta is a 39% shooter from three, Jeremy. Kind of shocked she didn't take that open one.
Another Golden Knight turnover. Dubin was the only one close to the ball that time. Bit of a miscommunication. Ichabod Seta behind the back move. Fades and scores.
And Clarkson is now in double digits in terms of turnovers, and we're not even done with the first half.
Ithaca's got 8 turnovers themselves, but they're putting the ball in the basket, and here comes Middleman. So every Bomber should get into this game before the half ends. Another missed layup by Benavides. Here comes Ithaca again. Ichabod Seta trying to shake Doyle. Pulls up. Left it off the back rim. Could be the last possession here for the Golden Knights. Benavides couldn't catch the pass, and it just goes into the stands.
Uncostly turnovers, Jeremy. 11 turnovers so far in the game. A lot of them either hurls over the head or some Butterfinger action where it tips their hands, but uncostly for Clarkson.
Clarkson's bench trying to get him back into it here. Here's Brady Lynch, dribble handoff from Middleman. Bit of a 4-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Sabino will try a three. Left it short. Rebound was tipped, and it'll be a jump. That'll favor Ithaca. So they'll get the ball back with 8.1. Brady Lynch did hit a buzzer beater to end the first quarter. Will they get one to end the half here?
We'll see. Definitely will add on to already what's been a great day.
Very good scoring afternoon for Ithaca so far. Middleman just gets it into Dubin, and nice play by Porter there to strip it off of Dubin's thigh out of bounds.
Great play by Porter, like you said, off Dubin's knee. Clarkson looking to finish this off on a positive note.
4 to shoot. Benavides hoist one up at the buzzer. Left it off the front rim again. So that'll do it for half number 1. Ithaca 40, Clarkson 12. Obviously, the Bombers don't have a lot they need to fix. Maybe a little less turnovers would be nice for their sake. But if you go to Clarkson, what are you saying in that locker room?
Just go out and have it be a fresh slate. You got to forget about being outscored 40-12 in the first half. Have it be a fresh slate and play the game that you love. I get it's going to be very difficult for them to come back, but there's not much you can really do other than have the short-term memory and go out there.
We're getting Clarkson just 7 points in the first quarter, 5 in the second. Ithaca 26 in the first, 14 in the second. That'll do it for us in the first half. We'll be right back for the second half out here on the Ithaca Bomber Athletic Stream. Stay tuned. Ithaca 40 and Clarkson 12. Just 90 seconds away from the start of the second half here at Bell Light Gymnasium. Ithaca very close, just 20 minutes away really, to improving to 7-0 in Liberty League play on the season. We talked about what Clarkson might be discussing in that locker room, and you said they got to treat the second half as a blank slate. But who are some players specifically you want to see get some better looks in the basket?
Obviously, you need Cassidy Dumont to make her presence a little bigger against this Ithaca defense, but I'd also say freshman Bella Doyle, who's been playing absolutely tremendous in these last two games. You would expect something more, especially for her, because she can compare to the Ithaca size. She can get those rebounds, offensive or defensive, and really change things around, but they're going to need a lot. I mean, Jeremy, 32 of the 40 points that Ithaca scored were inside the paint. 4 of them were free throws after, and then 1 jumper outside of the paint, not a three-pointer. So Clarkson's going to have to tighten up that defense inside the paint, much like what Ithaca has been doing today.
Matt, you mentioned Bella Doyle's name. No shots for her in that first half.
She's going to need to shoot the ball in the second half if they want to even make this a close ball game.
She played 16 of those 20 minutes, didn't shoot the ball once. So very, again, good awareness by you, because she has been such a crucial part of their good play when it's translating on the court, and she hasn't done much at all. Ithaca will go with their starting 5 to try to really get off to a good start here in the second half, and then we'll see if it translates. Obviously, if you're Clarkson, you want to see if you can get off to a good start too. You think Coach Raymond's putting out this 5-2 to make sure that Clarkson doesn't get any momentum to start the half?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. And as for Clarkson, even though you might not win this game, if you have 2 great quarters going into next weekend, it might help you.
Elena Porter, mid-range jumper, no good. Albertelli, another rebound. Lindsay Albertelli 3 points away from tying her career high. Volpe, non-dominant hand. Natalie Smith near corner 3. Didn't catch anything. Rebound out to Doyle.
It almost looks like Ithaca wants Lindsay Albertelli to get that record. She's at the top, at the foul line, rather, where Emily Dorn usually sits on offense.
Ball loose, goes right to Porter, and she botched the layup. Rebound to Volpe. Shot you want to make if you're Clarkson. Inbound Albertelli, and she missed the layup herself.
I was going to say, Ithaca only has 4 missed layups in the first half. That's the 5th, but definitely better than what they've been doing in the last 2 games.
Tashe didn't want to take the 3. She's only shooting 5.3% from there. And we have a foul, I believe, on Polche. Oh, it'll be on Albertelli.
Yeah, Clarkson's, they're going to need to take any type of open look. I would have taken the 3. You just got to take as many shots as you can, Jeremy.
Porter backing down Dorn. Really tough matchup. Tried to kick it out to Doyle, but the Ithaca defense formed a wall and got the ball loose. Smith, tough layup. Got it to go over Benavides.
It almost looks like the offense is going a little slower on transition, maybe to keep their fatigue higher up.
Ithaca up 30. Tashe inside Doyle. The pass way too high, and Albertelli tips it out of bounds.
And a lot of Clarkson's turnovers have been high passes, and that might be because of the mismatches, because of the height that Ithaca has, but a lot of their turnovers has been due to that.
Tashe, Doyle has a mismatch on Natalie Smith. Tries to go up with the left, blocked by Albertelli. Got her own rebound. Benavides tries a 3. No good. Offensive rebound to Porter. Porter, Dumont, short jumper. She got it. And Clarkson finally gets the lid off the basket. 42-14, Smith. Emily Dorn had the long jumper, but Dumont did a great job to close out. Long pass ahead. Polche finds Albertelli again. Volpe to the basket. Pretty move, but the layup no good. And a foul called on Albertelli on the rebound. That'll be her 3rd.
Yeah, as she's...
Polche, pass was
a little too high for Emily Dorn.
Right to Porter. Benavides feeds Dumont. Dumont thought about 3, but Albertelli doesn't give her a lot of room to work. Bounce inside, stolen by Volpe. Ithaca wants to run. Volpe to Smith, layup, and she's hacked by Taché.
I mean, what great communication that Ithaca has on defense. Doran and Volpe both understand that they need to switch when Clarkson sets that pick at the top of the key, and when
This is the first. Smith's second is good. Ithaca up 29. This is Doyle, who had her only shot of the game blocked. Taché drives to the basket, finds Benavides. 1-on-1 with Watkins, goes to Doyle. 5 to shoot. Benavides, another 3 to fire. Oh, another one off the front rim. She's been short on all of her threes. Smith goes baseline. Offense slows down a little bit here as they work it around the perimeter. Watkins feeds Smith. Cam Coffey, a 3 to fire. Got it.
There you go. Yesterday she was 2 for 6. Now make that, I believe, a 1 for 1 from 3.
Ithaca with their largest lead of the game at 32. It looks like the starters are starting to get filed out here. Dumont spins inside, puts up the hook, didn't get anything. Watkins the rebound. Bounce for Volpe, drives on Dumont, kicks it out. Anya Watkins along too, and Watkins has that one rim out.
It was a great look from Anya Watkins. Got to take that 10 out of 10 times. Hope that it falls a little more.
Shot looked good, just didn't get the roll.
Didn't get that lucky bounce.
Doyle has the mismatch with Smith. Volpe comes to help, and Doyle is fouled. It's going to be on Kara Volpe.
I'm telling you, this Ithaca Bombers defense does not want Clarkson to score any points in the paint. They're paint pests, Jeremy. They'll come a double team, triple team on you once Clarkson gets inside the paint.
Isabella Middleman back in the game with Annabella Iorio. As Doyle has the first one in and out. So again, Ithaca will not have a midweek game. They did play RIT on the road last Tuesday. They'll have arguably one of their biggest weekends of the season as Doyle sinks the second and will come out. Lainey Tiernan, who has only played in 2 games this season, will check in for Clarkson. But again, Ithaca will play Skidmore on the road, the team they're tied with for the Liberty League lead of first place, and they'll also play Union. Going to Lainey Tiernan, Matt, she was an academic all-star featured on WWNY-TV. She was in the National Honor Society, played soccer, basketball, was on the indoor track team. It was also part of the history and drama clubs in high school, so she did a lot.
She did, and she's 1 for 1 so far this season. Going to look to get her some notice today.
Raylan Burns missed the open layup. Watkins the rebound. She's doubled, but she does get it off to Middleman, who's trying to rush up the floor. Getting pressed. Near 10-second violation, but didn't get the call there. Polche still in the game. She's the lone starter still in. Iorio, hook shot, got it.
If you'll notice, a lot of Ithaca's offense is with Anya Watkins right now, but usually Emily Dorn at the top of that foul line just setting screens, and the guards just go by and hope that the defender sticks on Watkins on Dorn.
Grayson Dubin getting ready to check in as well. You can probably assume she'll take out Polche. Tough take by Dumont. Didn't get the floater to fall.
Clarkson's putting the pressure on, but I have to wonder, why not put the pressure on earlier than right now?
Coffee fading 3 from the corner. No, Dumont the long board. Dumont, don't know exactly what that was, but Iorio has the ball running the floor. Throws it inside. Watkins, Tiernan there for the intercept.
If you'll notice, this Clarkson team, they run a very slow offense. Compared to Ithaca's especially, it's not the best matchup for Clarkson. We talk about height, we talk about size, transition as well.
Taché, nice move to the basket, and she gets it to go.
Nice stutter step to get Watkins in and just go under.
Able to split the two defenders on the double team and get to the basket. Watkins the catch, and she's fouled before a shot. Tiernan puts her hands up to get the credit, but I don't know if she'll be called for the foul.
So Hannah Pulce is coming out. I would expect to not see any of the starters, especially with a game like against Skidmore on Friday.
Yeah, we're seeing Shea Sabino get to the table as well.
Someone we haven't really seen, Jeremy, Ika Balsetta, who didn't play last game, yesterday, has an apparent injury. Maybe they're giving her some rest for that Skidmore game in preparation.
She does have her warm-up shirt back on, so I think, with the lead where it is, they don't really see a need to give her a lot of run. She did play a little bit in the second half, so she has that experience for the weekend, but again, maybe not worth playing her right now. Watkins to Dubin, and that just shows how important she is. Watkins baseline jumper, no. Dubin got the rebound, puts up the lay-in, no. Clarkson will try to get this under 30 in terms of their deficit again here. Taché has it poked away by Middleman. Fight for it on the floor, but the Golden Knights keep it. And Porter shuffled her feet, turns it over.
It's just the pressure that Ithaca has. It's going to take them far when we're talking about in the Liberty League and also potentially in the tournament with their strong, aggressive defense.
Bombers working it around the perimeter using clock. This is Grayson Dubin along two. Here comes Raylan Burns. Doesn't have numbers. Gives it to Taché. Bounces for Porter. Her jump shot, no. And the rebound to Middleman.
I'm kind of shocked. She had an open lane to take a layup. Maybe Dubin would put a little pressure on, maybe even get a foul off, but I'm kind of shocked that she took a jumper instead of a layup.
Out of these five players who are getting some run time now at the end of this game with the lead where it is there anyone that's really catching your eye a little bit as somebody who could be an important rotational piece down as Shea Sabino knocks down the three?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Isabella Middleman. She's a sophomore guard, but when we really think about it, what do they need for the future? They're going to need guards. Natalie Smith, potentially gone. Cameron Coffey, potentially gone next season. So she's definitely going to relieve that guard play, even into her senior year when Hannah Pulce probably leaves in 2 years.
Yeah, we haven't seen Middleman get, again, a lot of time, but when she's in there, definitely one of the major hustlers on the floor, does dive after loose balls and gets her teammates opportunities. Pass break for Ithaca. Sabino, nice feed by Grayson Dubin.
This is definitely going to be a great quarter in the fourth and with the rest of this third to see what the future is like for Dan Raymond.
Sabino with the last 5 Bomber points. Another turnover created by Ithaca's swarming defense. Middleman, Yorio, and she is fouled by Taché. 38 seconds to go, and the Bombers continuing to increase their lead. 36-point advantage, just their largest of the night.
Yeah, this game, it's gotten out of hand in the second quarter, but with the almost, I would like to say the second strings, when we're talking about football, but with the backups, with the relievers coming in, it still looks like Ithaca's controlling against Clarkson starters.
Yorio's first is good. And again, the Bombers, they look dominant when it comes to the Liberty League. Obviously, Skidmore, they really match up. But you look at the games they've played. On the road against RIT, that was a very close game for 3 quarters before Ithaca exploded for 29 in the fourth. Again, we talked about how that quarter was a 6-5 difference. But at home, they look so much more comfortable when it comes to shooting the ball.
I mean, do we have to bring out the stats, Jeremy? They're 5-0 this season at home, and their last regular season home loss was back in 2021 against Rochester.
Yeah, and that was, again, a game where they were getting minutes of the fourth quarter. Rochester, both their women and men's basketball teams are pretty much top 25 in the country. They're both excellent matchups. And obviously Ithaca did play them on the road this year, and that was not very that was one of their games where they really struggled this year, but they've really played exquisite basketball at Bentley Gymnasium, like you mentioned.
I mean, talk about their 2 losses. Those were to 2 top 10 teams, so when you really think about it, this Ithaca team might be more dangerous than people think.
There's a foul on the shot. Dubin did whack Porter on the arm there, and yeah, so there are 2 losses. You look at last year's team, right? Only 3 losses until that devastating one against Springfield to end the season. The losses were to Cortland on the road, Rochester here at home, and then Vassar on the road. Vassar has seemingly regressed a little bit based off of how they fared in the Liberty League. They did lose to Rochester again this season. Scranton they were able to blow out here at home last year, and then obviously Scranton, much better of a game played. They did beat them in Scranton, Pennsylvania earlier this year. But the Bombers, as the horn sounds, if they do finish this Liberty League conference with a potentially undefeated record, they will have a better regular season record than they did last year.
They would. And this team, when you even compare it to last year, I mean, Grace Cannon was really the leader of last year's team. Now a lot of people have had to step up. It's just, you got to compare what the Liberty League even looked like and St. Lawrence and some of these strong teams and how they look like right now. It's definitely interesting to see how the Liberty League has progressed in the past year.
Right, and again, you could argue, too, that the competition may be not as present in the Liberty League because we saw Vassar and St. Lawrence really emerge as 2 of the powerhouses within the conference. Skidmore, obviously, was also a little competitive. They did nearly knock off St. Lawrence on the road as the 6th seed in that tournament. But while Skidmore has taken that next step, Vassar losing players like Danny Douglas and Sarah Galuli, and then St. Lawrence losing players like Katie Frederick, Dylan Watkiss, and Eva McCann, like we talked about last night, that's clearly come back to hurt them as their young players try to get their feet wet collegiately.
Yeah, and you know, you could say the same about Ithaca losing Cannon, Meg Yaman, but like I said, with that core 5, as I like to call it, with the experience, and Coach Raymond as the head coach, definitely in a better situation. As we've seen a lot of different people step up. Emily Dorr, Natalie Smith, Cameron Coffey, all on different days as well.
And that just speaks to how great of a job this Ithaca coaching staff does, whether it's Coach Raymond, Coach Jordan Beers, Megan Mazzella, who's on the bench now with his team, his former player, and then Coach Jim Mullins as well helping out. He's been on this campus forever, has helped out with both teams now. Making sure that these players in Natalie Smith, Cameron Coffey, and Emily Dorn, as Brady Lynch gets the layup to go, step into a leadership role. And obviously you have Cara Volpe and Lindsay Albertelli still with the team, but you can tell leadership comes from all around the floor. Tashe responds with a layup of her own, lead back down to 38. I don't think we've seen Ithaca call a timeout in this game.
I feel like I recall a first one in the first half, but
maybe.
Yeah, Jeremy,
yeah, you could absolutely be right.
I don't believe that they've called many timeouts today. And why would you need to?
Absolutely not.
It's almost a perfect game, I would say. In terms of the turnovers, you could kind of limit those, but almost a perfect game for Ithaca.
Middleman called for steps. Clarkson still going with their starting 5. Well, I don't believe we'll see Ithaca starters the rest of the way. Benavides fakes the 3 with the head fake. Bella Doyle, she'll try her first 3. That didn't even get rimmed that time. That's one thing. Clarkson, they're 0 for 11 from behind the arc today.
It's definitely going to help Ithaca's opposing three-point field goal
right, exactly.
percentage, especially with yesterday's game. St. Lawrence didn't even shoot too many threes.
Middleman for Watkins, and she had the shot blocked. Had the right idea, but give credit to Dumont and Porter for performing a nice double team inside.
Yeah, great backdoor cut, and while the size advantage is not in favor of Clarkson, they did put good enough pressure to cause Watkins to not make an easy layup.
Middleman will inbound it from underneath the basket. Goes to Dubin. She fakes the 2. Comes in with the floater and hits.
And it seems like Clarkson and even that one referee slipping and sliding today.
Grayson Dubin now with 4. Coach Raymond giving props to Brady Lynch for the good defense she was playing there, and Middleman knocks that pass out of bounds. You have to say, this unit Ithaca's put out there, they're playing hard, trying to, again, earn maybe some extra minutes, and they're doing a good job against this Clarkson starting group.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, these reserves, these backups are looking good against Clarkson's starting lineup.
They're increasing the lead.
And, you know, this is the untapped potential that they need to tap into, not just for right now, this season, but for the future, for next season, for the season after, to keep this Ithaca team as high as they hold their reign as Liberty League champions.
Taché will shoot 2 after the foul from Sabino, and she makes the first free throw. You could say, obviously, too, that Ithaca's taken the foot off the gas when it's come to scoring the basketball, but the defensive effort has to be something that catches your eye.
Yeah, they're definitely on offense. They're a very fast team, fast pace, but they've definitely slowed it down a little in the third and now 8 minutes in the fourth.
Second one rolls out. How about this? 8 rebounds for Anya Watkins off the bench.
Anya Watkins has gotten more play time, or more time played on the court than usual today. She even came in the second quarter.
She's somebody that, again, doesn't see the floor too much, but she is a very, very good rebounder when she is in there. And if she can, increase those scoring numbers a little bit, she'll become a very productive player at all times. Taché, long 2 from the baseline. No, and almost took a bounce in there. Offensive rebound, Dumont. She can't hit. Dumont gets her own board again. And how about 9 rebounds for Watkins? And then she pulls the ball away from Porter that time.
Yeah, we talk about Dumont leading Liberty League in scoring. Only got 8 points today. Definitely not, these last 2 games, definitely not ideal for Dumont.
And a very tough weekend facing 2 of the top 3 teams in the Liberty League right now if you're Clarkson, but have a chance to reset next weekend on your home floor as that goes out of bounds off Watkins. Now, we talked a lot about Ithaca's future and how they have the 2 big games on the road against Skidmore and Union coming up next Friday and Saturday. For Clarkson, they'll play William Smith and RIT. So they actually do remain on the road. They do not go back home. But a chance there for sure to maybe get some conference wins as Doyle has her in pass deflected by Dubin. Taché, Dumont, a 3. No at the shot clock horn, and that'll go out of bounds off Porter.
Jeremy, as we talk about Skidmore being the next opponent for Ithaca, they are ahead of Bard right now, 57-21 with 5 left in the fourth quarter. Very similar game, 59-20 here, 57-21 over at Bard.
Middleman, she'll try a 3. Middleman is good.
The crowd, or the bench erupts for Isabella.
Middleman is 5 for 8 on 3s this season. She shot it well when she's had the opportunity. Porter, nice shot over the hand of Watkins that time. The lead down to 40. Middleman, full head of steam up the floor. Sabino draws the double. Lynch, offensive foul. Matt, you mentioned you like the play of Isabella Middleman, and she shows that she could shoot it on that possession.
Yeah, she's done well when she's had the opportunity to shoot so far this season, and that's definitely a great sign as you look into the future. You wish in college sports you could keep the same team every year, but that's not the case.
Right. Dumont to the basket. No. On rebound. No again. And Dubin, another rebound, and she is hacked, I believe, by Dumont. And they'll charge it to Lexi Hewitt, another sophomore who is checking in for just the second time this season, playing in just her second game of her collegiate season.
Yeah, so I even have in my notes that Clarkson runs a 7-person lineup. That's very short, and in terms of collegiate basketball. Today, not the case. They've been starting to go from 7 to 10 players playing today, and that most likely is because it currently is a 40-point game.
Now let's go over some Liberty League scores while we have a timeout. 5:48 to go in this one. St. Lawrence in need of a rebound win. They are trailing 52-46 to RPI. If RPI wins this game, they become 5-2 in the Liberty League. So they had that loss to RIT and that loss to Ithaca, but they have played some good basketball aside from that.
Vassar is currently up 57-43 over RIT. Vassar looking to be 5-3, in the Liberty League.
Yeah, that's a big win. You're looking at Vassar. They've had some tough losses, including to this Clarkson team, but Anthony Mason was the coach of the year in his first year at the program last year, trying to develop his young players a little more as the season gets on. Zubin cut to the basket, missed the lay-in there, and a foul charge to Brady Lynch on the rebound.
It looked like an over-the-back foul inside the paint. It's very hard when you got those mismatches. The taller player, even though they're behind, you can't go over her back, but it's definitely, I understand the reasoning why she would try to do that with a mismatch like that.
Matt, thanks to a 14-3 third quarter, William Smith up over Union 40-24 in that one, as the Herons look for another Liberty League win of their own. That middle to the bottom of the pack, it's tight. Anybody can really come and get one of those 5-6 spots.
Yeah, we'll see William Smith, the 27th. First game on ICTV.
Can't wait for you guys to tune in over there. And then finally, the other game, Skidmore and Bard. Skidmore up by 38, 59-21. So looks like Ithaca and Skidmore will both be 7-0 as they face off in Skidmore on Friday. That's a game I'm sure both of us will be tuning into, and should be one of the more paid attention to games in the Liberty League.
It almost seems like they're having identical storylines today with Ithaca and Skidmore.
Middleman blocked the shot of Benavides. And they rush it up the floor. Watkins finds Sabino, but the pass was tipped. Dubin to Middleman, swings it to Lynch. Watkins, good ball movement here by the Bombers. Lynch takes the elbow jumper and hits.
Benavides struggled today. 0 for 12. Meanwhile, she's averaging 8.5 points per game, so not an ideal game either of these last two games for Clarkson. Have a fresh slate going into next weekend.
Make it 0 for 13 now. She's also 0 for 7 from 3. Here's Lexi Hewitt. Left that one short, and Grayson Dubin the rebound. Sabino tries a 3. No good back iron. Lynch hustling for the rebound, and it will be Bomber basketball. Here comes Veronica Taché. On the glass, Ithaca out-rebounding their opponents by just about 8 rebounds per game this season, and they're out-rebounding Clarkson 40-32 tonight. Or today, I should say. Here's Dubin, moving her way to the paint. Nice finger roll, and she gets it to go. Matt, 6 points for Dubin today.
When she has the opportunity, she'll go out there and score points for you. We saw that in the Bard game, and we see it today. I've been preaching this a ton, but the future is just, it's bright for Ithaca while they're losing a few key players.
Pump fake Middleman to the basket. She gets it to go. Isabella Middleman putting on a show.
When she gets a chance, she steps up, and she'll be getting a lot of chances next year.
Ithaca's up by 48 points. Clarkson with just 22 all game.
And it seems like they really fixed up their turnovers in the second half. Turnovers a little problem for Ithaca in the first.
Missed shot there. Rebound to Lynch. Ithaca's got a 3-on-1. Here comes Lynch. Bounces for Sabino, and Shea Sabino makes it a 50-point game.
There's not much you could do if you're Veronica Tashe in that situation.
18 turnovers for Clarkson today. Ithaca has a 15 of their own, but I'm sure they don't mind that right now. Tashe thought about the three. Pulls it back out. Lexi Hewitt will try another jump shot, and she gets that to go. Grayson Dubin, she'll try a three. No good off the side of the backboard, and that went out of bounds. Two Clarkson players there, but they couldn't call each other off. So Middleman has 5 points, 2 rebounds. Dubin, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks, and a steal. Inside Lynch, no one there. Defense
Unguarded.
collapsed. The ball was inbounded from underneath the basket, and there was no Clarkson defender in the paint.
I don't know if that's miscommunication or nobody saw Brady Lynch, but that would be a little odd since she should be one of the bigger targets.
Tashe, Middleman, good contest, but Veronica Tashe gets that to go. She's got 8 points, tied with Cassidy Dumont for the team lead in scoring. Just over a minute to go. Coming up next, Ithaca and Clarkson will face off on the men's side of things. Watkins to the cup. She's fouled.
Great idea from Anya Watkins. She was looking for Shea Sabino in the corner as well. And then the foul.
Trivia question. Try not to look at the box score when I ask you this.
All right.
Who is the only Bomber not to score today?
Annabelle Iorio.
It's Cara Volpe. The only Bomber not to score in today's game, believe it or not. Watkins gets it to go, lead back to 50.
And Cara Volpe, 14 against RIT, 13 against St. Lawrence yesterday. I'm shocked.
She's just taken one shot, but again, the playing time hasn't needed to be there.
Yeah.
Long two by Johnson, just her 5th shot of the entire season, does go out of bounds off of Watkins' fingertip. 76-26, though. If you're Coach Raymond, there's really not a lot to be upset about.
No, other than the turnovers, I think that would be the only thing I'd be a little worried about moving forward against Skidmore, but it's been an ideal game for Ithaca.
Shot blocked by Lynch. Shot clock turned off. Ithaca's going to dribble this one out. They're going to win this one 76-26, a 50-point rout as they wrap up the weekend with a record of 12-2 and 7-0 within the Liberty League Conference, Matt.
Lindsay Albertelli, we have to talk about her one more time. 13 points, 6 for 7 from the field in 16 minutes, Jeremy. A great day for Lindsay and the Bombers squad.
So again, that'll do it. 76-26, the Bombers take it. Every Bomber got to see the floor for the second consecutive game. And man, Ithaca's played a lot of road games this year, but what a solid homestand for Coach Raymond's team.
Yeah, and even going off what you said, Ithaca, all of their players had double-digit minutes as well. So definitely a great sign for the Bombers as they're looking to continue to improve their win streak with Skidmore on Friday.
All right, so alongside Matt Kane, I'm Jeremy Goldstein. The Bombers will take on Skidmore and Union on the road next weekend. And then the following weekend, we kick everything off with Bombers Live on ICTV. Myself and Matt will have every call for every women's basketball game at home. They play the rest of the season, so can't wait for you guys to join us there. But again, stay tuned. Ithaca and Clarkson will face off on the men's side in about 30 minutes. Have a great weekend, everyone.